It can keep you from back and forth. Y'all will all settle down when it's done. We call this meeting of Ector County Hospital District to order. First, I'd like to start with invocation. Captain Doug.
Good evening, all. Just would ask you to keep Dr. Ard in your prayers. He has completed his therapy here in Odessa, and he's headed to Houston on Tuesday of this coming week. And I believe he'll be scheduled down there for 2 weeks. A couple of surgeries scheduled, but keep him in your prayers if you would, please.
He's supposed to have a surgery that will last all day.
Yeah, 10-hour surgery. So just keep him in your prayers. Appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. My name is Pastor Doug. I'm a staff chaplain here at Medical Center Hospital. Trust everybody had a great Thanksgiving, and I'm looking forward to a wonderful Christmas and a wonderful New Year. Let's pray. Father, we love you. We appreciate you. We just thank you so much for everything you do for us, dear Lord. Father, as we finish out the year 2020, we've seen the best of times and the worst of times all at the same time this year, Lord. But Father, your word tells us that if we will ask you things that we need to know, that you'll give us direction and you'll give us an insight. So we're asking for that going into 2021, dear Lord. We need your guidance, we need your direction, and we need your wisdom more than anything else. We give you all the glory, we give you all the honor, and we give you the praise for it. You've given us the best possible team that we could possibly have to lead us, and we thank you for that. In your holy name, amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Would you stand with me for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag. Honor of the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Our mission, vision, values. Brand.
Medical Center Health System is a community-based teaching organization dedicated to providing high-quality and affordable health care to improve the health and wellness of all residents of Permian Basin. Our vision is Medical Center Health System will be the premier source of health and wellness, and our values: eye care for integrity, customer-centered, accountability, respect, and excellence.
And we have some awards today. Mr. Tiffin, how are you?
Good, how are y'all?
Good.
Good evening. We have some awards. We're going to try to get back in this mode of recognizing our staff and just making sure people know the good crew that we have here at Medical Center. And so I'd like to recognize our executive assistant in the emergency room tonight. And it's going to be very difficult for me to say anything nice about this lady because I know her, but come on up here. This is Cynthia Hernandez. She is the executive assistant in the emergency room. And Cynthia is a coworker that everyone wants to have. She is essential for the ED trauma as well as many others. She takes on any new task, and I will vouch for that is sent her way completely, seamlessly, and flawlessly. She's always willing to work and go the extra mile and above and beyond. Under her mask, she always has a smile on her face and greets everyone in the hallways. A great attitude even in the hardest of times. And this award for her is well deserved. And I want to tell you, she is a workout freak, and she holds me accountable on mine. She's always asking me how my bicycle ride's going. I always try to suck it in a little bit when I see her coming around, because I know she's going to ask me how my workouts are going. But let me just tell you that she, we got several things for her here. This includes an additional 8 hours of vacation, recognition at the board meeting, a $100 gift card from the medical staff, a gift of $100 from the MCHS to add to your next paycheck, and Associate of the Month parking. Do we still have that parking?
Where'd you get your parking there?
I guess I'm gonna have to move out of that spot.
That's why you didn't want to give it up.
Yeah, I've been holding off on this for a while, but if you will, please, join me in recognizing Cynthia and for her great work and her efforts here at Medical Center Hospital.
What she looks like.
Yeah, you want to take your mask off so they can see?
There you go.
Hey, Cynthia, if you could indulge me just a bit, with all the wonderful, nice things that Mr. Tippin has said about you, what keeps you motivated and through these difficult times here at Medical Center? What keeps your positive attitude?
All of the great people that I work with.
All the great people.
Yes, all the great people that I've worked with for 8 years. I don't know what else to say. It's just, I don't know, it's been an awesome environment to work here. And I've come from radiology all the way to the ER. I have trauma, ICU, CCU. So I've dealt with a lot of employees throughout all my years and a lot of directors. So I love working here.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank
That's
you.
great.
It's a very good environment.
We're glad
Thank
to
you for
have
everything, Cynthia.
Thank you. Uh-oh.
Y'all better put your masks on for that.
Hold your breath.
Yeah, suck in, Maria.
Smile though.
Yeah, smile.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Keep smiling. Yeah. All right, and we also have, I don't think she's. We also have the Nurse of the Month, which is Miss Jody Price, RN in the infusion services. This says Jody has jumped in with both feet to help her department. She's flexed her schedule without being asked to cover blood spots and continue to work extra, even on her days off. To help other units that are shorthanded, she's a positive attitude and with a calm, we will get it. A saying that helps everyone work together and take care of each other. Jody exhibits the team player attitude by flexing her schedule without being asked, huddling with her team every day to keep everyone on the same page. She has a positive attitude working with the patients to meet their scheduled needs, and she's always communicates well with the patient's family to assure them that their family member is being well taken care of. In a world of COVID and a world of high stress for families and patients, it's nice to have somebody like Jody. She'll receive the same recognition. We'll get some pictures with her, get that out on social media. But we congratulate Jody Price in Infusion Services as the Nurse of the Month.
Thank you very much. At this time, a conflict of interest disclosure by any board members, if you can disclose this to them. Not hearing anything. Public comments on the agenda items. Anyone out there that has any comments that they'd like to make, please chime in and give us your name first. We have Richard on. So not seeing or hearing anything, we're going to go forward. Next, I have the consent agenda. Everything that's listed A through E underneath. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion for approval.
Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. And the committee reports. Start on the finance committee.
Finance Committee met today at 4:45 and approved the financial report for month ended October 31st, 2020. And we also approved the consent agenda. I'm sorry, several different approvals. Yes. And then also capital expenditure requests. We approved several capital expenditure requests. Mr. Ewing, do you want to share what you did in the Finance Committee about why there were so many items that were approved in that?
Yes, currently, since we're still working through the capital budget for 2021, in an effort to try to come up with a 3 to 5 year strategic plan, since we've been in a deficit for the last several years, we're still in the process of doing that. So until then, we will have these individual items, all basically going to be of emergency nature, and or previous commitments like the small bone drill sets that was part of a 2-year purchase plan. So I would expect us to be going through some of these larger type transactions for the next several months until we have the finalized long-term strategic capital plans presented to the board.
Thank you. So along with the capital expenditures, we also did an approval for an engagement letter with Weaver and also a service agreement with Shimadzu. Where's Matt? Did I say it right? Anyways, so I would move to approve the finance committee report.
I have one question.
Second.
I have one question before we finish. Mr. Ewing, with the numbers not being as high in the case of our patients, what would the hospital look like if our numbers were where we budgeted?
We would be in a better financial position than where we currently are, because what we've been able to demonstrate, and I have to give kudos to our management team, they've been able to manage the expenses at a lower level, and that's always harder to do. So they're keeping the labor cost where we need to be. They're keeping the supply costs where they need to be. Those are the variables that can be controlled. So if we were to move up in our various admissions or surgeries, basically the large fixed cost that we are carrying would stay the same. The variable cost they'd be able to manage, and we would see an actual higher cash flow from operations. So I think we're poised that if we can keep managing our expenses, when the revenues do come back, we're going to see better return on bottom line profit.
What would it look like as far as people in beds? I mean, we seem to be overcrowded now.
We are. The issue really goes down to, especially on the inpatient side, when you have longer lengths of stay, most of these patients are Medicare, and they're paid on a DRG basis, meaning it's a fixed dollar amount. So whether they're there 3 days or 8 days, we still get the same for that. But we're expending 8 days worth of supplies and labor and all that. So once our volumes come back in line to where they are historically normal outside of COVID, then our expenses will come down to match our revenues, if that answers your question. And it'll also free up. I mean, we've talked about extensively the lack of surgeries that we're unable to do simply because the hospital resources have been stretched just to meet the COVID requirements that we have within the county.
Well, let me direct it to you, Russell. What would it look like as far as the number of people in this hospital in beds? We had our budgeted numbers because we're full.
Yeah.
We're bolting.
Yeah, if we had the numbers without COVID, or the numbers with COVID, we wouldn't be able to handle it. I mean, we're maxed out now. We're borrowing, stealing every person, piece of equipment, ventilator, everything we can get our hands on to cover this. In fact, we've even gone into the FEMA part to get FEMA nurses. There's 3 FEMA doctors here right now. And so, I mean, can you imagine what that would look like if you had your normal volume on top? Just like our surgeries. we have to stop the survey, one, because the governor's mandate, but two, we don't have any staff to do the surveys. We don't have anywhere to put them if they need an overnight stay. There's no room in the inn. Now, if we staffed up, well, that would be the difference between a $356 million budget and a $700 million budget. I mean, but as we all know, we sit here today with a $350 million, whatever our budget is. And if you think we just go pick up nurses and doctors off the street and not incur a cost, it would blow our budget out of the water. I mean, it would just totally blow us off.
That's why I was thinking I wanted to. Okay, I've got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Audit committee, Ms. Dodd, you're not done.
The audit committee met virtually on Tuesday, November 17th at 4 p.m. via Teams meeting. The committee received a report from BKD regarding the audit plan for 2021. The committee approved the plan. The committee also received a report from Weaver regarding results of the internal audit, April 2020 audit packet, and the proposed 2020-2021 project plan. The committee approved this project plan, and the committee now recommends that this board approve the BKD fiscal year 2021 audit plan and the 2021 project plan from Weaver. This is in the form of a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions from anyone? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Quality assurance performance improvement, Ms. Timmons.
So I want to turn this over actually to Courtney Look, our associate CXO, as well as Kayla Barrington. She's our new director of performance improvement quality analytics. We are required by DNV to carry a quality assurance performance and improvement plan, telling us a little bit about who we are, what we structure. I believe it's in your packet, about 106, 107 on your pages. So I'm going to let them do a brief presentation just so you don't have to read through the entire plan. We do need to get that approved by you as the board, supporting what we want to do as an organization for quality and performance improvement. And then throughout the year, we'll be bringing those reports to you so you can see the changes that we're making, the difference we're seeing in patient labs and safety, and then get it approved every year thereafter.
Can we get their names again, please?
Absolutely. Courtney Look and Kayla Barrington.
So today I want to share about our coffee plan. This is a plan that has turned over for several years in our organization. And so really what we wanted to do was take a look at this plan and make sure that it's streamlined and that it's easily readable. So if it's in your packet, I hope that you find it's easily readable. A few of the things that we really changed is, one, to make sure we are compliant with CMS and DNV standards. And one of the differences is that every department within our organization has to have a performance improvement plan. So our entire organization has submitted those plans as of last week, and the report out schedules on the back of that coffee plan that you'll see in your minutes. And so those have been submitted. Roles and responsibility are defined within that PI plan, and that's just really asking our team to know exactly what they're responsible for and what their role is in process improvement. So you'll see defined roles for our governing board, you'll see roles for our executive and leadership team, and you'll also see roles for the department level teams as well. So those will be reflected in there. And then again, it's all about compliance, so we're not asking for anything outside of the standards. It's really about making sure that we're compliant and holding everybody responsible to a PI plan. I'm gonna let Kayla hand over to her and let her talk through some of our commitments and really what our ask is today and what the standard is.
With this new QAPI plan, we would like to do and have an ongoing program for quality improvement. We want to continually look at different goals, evaluate them as we either succeed or not succeed, and change our plan as we go. We want it to be an ever-moving body. We have involved areas from all over the health system, and we want everybody to be involved. So urgent care, FHC, ProCare, anesthesia, we've asked everybody for plans so that we can make improvements in every single nook and cranny. We are trying to prioritize for improved quality of care and patient safety. A lot of things that we may look at, we may see that really it may not be that much of a difference. And so we also are going to try to find the things that are wasteful in our time and try to focus on the things that are most important. We want to set clear expectations for patient safety and quality and implement those and keep them maintained by those evaluations yearly. Our ask of you as the board is for request of delegated responsibility as referred in the QAPI plan. In the QAPI 2021 plan, it says, the board delegates the responsibility for implementing this plan to the Quality and Patient Safety Division through the QAPI plan. So that is our ask of y'all, of you as our board, is just to allow us the responsibility to implement this plan. Do y'all have any questions?
I'm gonna click back so they can see that, the previous one.
Let me interject here. One thing we like about DMV a lot is that they are a very process centered organization that really digs into not, hey, we're doing this, but how are you doing it? Are you doing it correctly? And if you're not, what do you have in place to ensure that whatever you're doing doesn't reach the patient or doesn't cause any harm? And it's a really a better dive into our processes, is that processes to get down into the grass, if you will, of why do we do things, what are we doing, what's the outcome we're expecting, and are we getting what we're expecting? If we're not, how come? And this quality management program, this compliance, really holds the organization accountable to be able to move through that to really to say to our patients, we have these processes in place. If it's not working, we're going to find what's broken and fix it to make sure your care is appropriate and safe. And that's what it's all about. That's why DMV to me moves the bar higher than Joint Commission. And this part of this plan really drives that home and will help us hold ourselves accountable to get this done.
And who's overseeing all of this? It's going to be DMV overseeing this?
Yeah, DMV is like the Joint Commission.
Joint Commission. So they're going to have somebody on site. No, this is going to be y'all's own initiative.
Yeah, it'll be managed by the performance improvement team that you have here on campus.
With direction from, with the resources from DMV. Am I getting that right?
So QAPI is a standard within CMS that every organization. It is a committee that meets at least annually, but we meet monthly. We have too many departments to possibly meet once a year. So what we do is we meet for an hour to 2 hours every month, where every department shares out process improvement. And so this is just our new plan for this year that incorporates all departments within our facility to make sure that everybody's working towards process improvement.
So you probably heard it referred to as quality council. We brought reports to QMC and different things through the board. So this is changing what we considered it in the past. And when Heather Goldman was here, is that PI Quality Council, which is evolving into something much bigger and more in depth for the organization.
And who is the individual that's going to be overseeing all of this stuff?
So it reports up to me.
Up to you, okay.
Which then reports into you guys after we report into Russell. But Kayla is the director now of performance improvement, with Courtney being over performance improvement and patient experience. So she's got both.
Are y'all seeing any problems right now in the quality of care for the patients? Or is this a fine tuning of the quality that we provide for our patients? What my concern is, where I'm trying to get to there, is our quality of care right now at a level that isn't adequate for these types of like the Joint Commission, DMV, kind of things like that, or are we just trying to find, I guess, some of those things. We don't want to add busy work, you know, we don't want busy work and, you know, to distract from certain things that we're already doing. But I mean, I'm not on the front lines like y'all are, so I mean, I'm just kind of trying to get a better understanding of I guess, the necessity part of what we're trying to do here, what y'all are trying to do here.
So there are a couple things that report into this policy. There's a lot of regulatory standards that require different teams to report out things quarterly, so this is a platform for them to do that for the regulation. And in addition to that, everyone's using policy regulation of having. Now, PI plans are typically goals that most departments already have, whether it's the organization goal or the quality goal, whatever those may be. These all roll up to be here. So for the most part, it's not asking for anything additional from our team members, things that they're already doing, but it's things they want to improve and bring forward to the council, and is required. It's not something we've been compliant with in the past, so we want to make sure that every single department is.
To answer your question, we deliver quality care. I think anyone that ever receives the care will tell you it's different than what's reported. So what we're trying to do in getting on our 5-star journey is to enhance what we're already doing and continue to fine tune those things for our patients. And that's what this team is going to do with the support of the executive team and the board to really push us forward.
You know, our history does not say that though. You know, we were a
Right.
2-star at a couple of years ago, you know, and we do want to get to that 5-star achievement there. And I think this is a step in that right direction. So, good stuff. Okay.
I really think another piece of copy, as we bring more reports to you as the board, you're going to see that what we're doing currently compared to how the lag in reporting shows of whatever we are as 2 or 3, 4, 5 years old, you're going to actually see the progress that we're making so that we're not just spilling words to you. You're actually seeing the data and the projects come to fruition, similar to how you did in the alignment room, where it's actual success compared to what the reports are going to show, whereas in 3 years, it's going to show the success. You're going to see it ahead of time.
Excellent.
The one thing we liked about this the most, Joint Commission was once every 3 years. D&B is annual. And so you don't pull out your storyboards once every 3 years to get through Joint Commission. This is a continual process-driven accreditation that holds you to some higher quality standards. And you're right, the 5 stars where we want to be. We've had an improvement. We've seen improvement already. The 1-star, we've moved that already with just a little bit that we've done to 2. So the work is there, but we just got to get it out there. So,
Kristen, isn't this just a broader sense of the same thing that you did in the ER? It'll work in a similar type fashion.
It is. Things like your ER project can report into your QAPI program and have the support and the structure around it. So yes, that's an example of something that could be within this person structure.
Okay, very good.
So how often, I know a lot of us were at the audit checkout or whatever you called it. How often will you report back to the board on where we are on those findings from the D&B folks?
So we will report those monthly in copy, and then copy will come back to the board.
Okay.
So probably once a quarter is what I was recommending to Russell, so that you guys can get a better look at how we're progressing in the D&B standards as well as the quality of care that we're giving instead of just the once or twice a year.
So all of those findings will go.
Okay, so I think I have a question online from Mary. Are you there, Mary?
Mary Davis? Yeah. Yeah.
I'll help Mary get on. We've also got, just so everybody knows, we've got it on record, Richard is online with us.
Is Mary on there? Mary, are you muted?
Unmute and talk.
Or text me your question.
Yeah, if it is just a question, you can text it to us. Let's hang on a minute, just a second for her. See if we can get this done.
guys, these young ladies put together an immaculate DMV action plan for all of our corrections. It was submitted successfully last night. So we'll hear back from them within a couple of weeks if they accept all of those plans so that we can move forward. But I would just like and request that you guys give them a hand. They did so good from the survey. All of
Thank you.
I'm a complete belief that what y'all are doing, like, we want the five-star program. What you're putting together is the most important thing that we can do to make sure our patients are
She said she accidentally said something.
Oh, she did. Very, very clear.
Mary, I'll see you in my office in the morning. So.
So we would like to seek approval today, that you would designate that responsibility.
I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion for approval.
I'll second.
Just a question, is that a written document or we just?
Yes, it is. Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries.
Thank you,
Thank
ladies.
you,
Good
ladies.
work.
Thank you very much. Mr. Tippin.
I'll move into my part and I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. Just a few updates. First of all, on the COVID-19 front, today we have 92 in-house today. That number has fluctuated quite a bit. If you remember, we were sitting here about 30, 40 days ago thinking that 50 was too many, and now we've blown by 100 several times. We actually had a time during the weekend that our number dipped a little bit, right? It was in the 80s for about 4 hours, and then it took off again. But we are preparing for the after Thanksgiving rush, if you will, just with the amount of travel that happened, and we know people got together. We know that happened. So we're getting ready with an additional 20 beds on another unit. And we'll talk about that a little bit more later on, but we are just trying to get prepared for that. I can tell you that your staff, your nurses, doctors, housekeepers, lab techs have fought this battle very courageously and have done an outstanding job. You can see in their eyes, they're tired. We're trying to keep their spirits up. You saw things like we had the people out here who were clapping and waving and holding signs and playing drums. That was a big lift for some of our crew. Just anything we can do. We have people calling, bringing food, or just sending thank you cards. But if you remember back in March when this started, we thought it'd be way over by now. I mean, we really did. It's not. It's alive and well. And as we continue on, just please continue to hold our staff in your prayers and your thoughts. They do appreciate everything you've done for them. Earlier, you did ratify the one-time COVID pay adjustment that was well received. Thank you for that. I think that really re-energized a lot of folks. So thank you for that, to get that done. But at the same time, the battle's not over. We're pushing through. The vaccines, I was on a direct call with the governor's office. There was 10 of us on there, 10 hospitals. There's a lot of numbers and a lot of dates floating around out there. I can tell you that I think that we could expect vaccine somewhere between the 10th and the 15th of this month. And the governor has said that there will be 1 million doses delivered to the state of Texas in the first wave. That's a lot of doses till you start dividing that by 285 hospitals. And suddenly that number gets real small.
30 million in the state.
1 million in the state. And so, so we're waiting. We're hoping today, I haven't seen anything today, I'll check my email tonight, for a list of how they want those rolled out from frontline workers all the way down. The Pfizer looks like it's going to be the first one, but that's a 2-dose treatment. So you're going to get the first dose, and 30 days later, they're going to ship you enough for the second dose, and then off you go. One thing that's kind of sent us into orbit on that we visited with Cheryl and Matt's group is we know there's going to be a needle shortage soon because everybody's going to be getting the vaccine. Everybody's going to use needles. Our needle and syringe, we're well stocked for that. We feel like Matt and Cheryl have gotten out there and have secured us more needles than you ever want to look at. But at the same time, what we start getting into after that is you start thinking about inoculating 150,000 people in this county or plus. How do you do that? And how does that work? And we don't know. I mean, we've never done this before. But I know that we've been working with some of the incident command folks, Kristen and Amanda, our HIMT crew. We're talking about this a couple times a week. Just how do we deploy this? What does it look like? One thing I know is when it comes in, it's got to be under armed guard security 24 hours a day. So we're going to have to put a gun with it all the time.
Oh, my goodness.
But one thing that we know too, that as cold as this has to be kept, we have to deploy it quickly. So it won't be in storage for very long. It'll be moved very rapidly. But when you start talking about inoculating, hundreds of thousands of people, then you start thinking on a kind of a drive-through type. Somebody's taking the information, somebody's sticking with a needle, off you go. I mean, it's moving that fast. But we will keep you posted on that. I do think that mass vaccines are still probably 90 days away, 120 days away, when you start seeing these mass shipments. But the first round is not that far away for the frontline workers. It'll be here in the next couple of weeks. So we're getting prepared for that. A few more updates just on our project we have with the city. I sent y'all an email earlier today about just some demographics. We've had 2 drive-throughs that have gone off without a hitch. Kristen has done a good job. Chris Tovar and Tricia is her name, Tricia Yarbrough. Man, those people have worked this drive-through system like it's just second hat to them. Kristen and I were on traffic control the other day out at Health and Wellness, and we blew through 200 tests in less than an hour out there. And that's only one because it was organized, because you get all those people trying to get in there. And I'm telling you, these are people pulling up, and you're looking in their car, and you can tell just by looking at them they're sick. One car had 6 people in it. One had 8. We know that the youngest person we've tested is 3 months old, and the oldest we've tested is 98 years old, and everywhere in between. But if you remember, the city sent over about $660,000 for the testing, and right now we're sitting a little over $400,000 spent in less than a month. So that program is going to run out quickly. We have kind of throttled that down a little bit to try to make it last a little bit longer, but we were hoping to get that through the beginning of the year, and there's no way that's going to happen. We'll be through these before Christmas, especially if there's an uptick in the next couple of days from Thanksgiving. We'll blow through those in no time at all. Just a quick update on, we've had over 3,000 of those result already. And out of those 3,000, we're running about a 65% positivity rate, which is very alarming. It's very, very alarming that it's that high. But I will give my hats off to the city for moving that money to the healthcare side. We got about 660,000. Odessa Regional got about 300,000, so they spent about $1 million. They could have spent $1 million with us easily, because we could blow right through that. But they're out. Their funding, their CARES Act funding is out. And so when these tests are gone, then we'll go back to our regular routine. But we are not far from that. But our crews have done great. It was an idea that I kind of spun up on a whim, and IDL and everybody made it happen. And so we owe them a great gratitude and thanks for getting that done, for giving up their Saturday mornings and getting out there when it was cold and when it was wet. And we were out there and we moved those through and provided a big service for this community. In that email I sent you, it does break it down by zip code. 79761 is the #1 area that we tested. 6.3 and 6.4 are behind that, and 6.2. So that's kind of the center of town. then it moves over to the east side, west side, and then south side. So we've got that broken down demographically so the city can see how that went. Our plan was to have drive-throughs in all 4 areas of the community. We just had no idea that we would burn through these so quickly.
You mentioned the dollars. How many tests did we do?
We've done over 3,000 tests. Our budget was 4,500, I believe. So we're about 80% there in 4 weeks in a month. So less than a month.
When you mentioned the percent positive, do we know how many of those were sick or asymptomatic?
We do not.
That'd be a good, that's what my thought is. People are spreading it and they don't feel bad and they have no idea that they're spreading it.
Well, let's give this, here's a thought. So the other day we worked the clinic, we were out there, we saw 200 people. If you think 65% of those, so that'll be 180 were sick. I know I looked in some cars and I was like, whoa, get back. And then I looked at some, I'm like, what are you doing here? So, I mean, I saw it both ways. Some of those you knew they were sick. Some of them walked right up to us and like, hey, I want to get a COVID test. They didn't feel, I mean, so I don't know if we can break it down. We'll try to if they checked off they have symptoms. So we'll see if we can crunch that down. But at the same time, this group has done a great job in getting that testing out there, along with everything else they're doing on top of that. So, any questions about that? Thank you for that question. Good question. Any questions or comments about that?
The only thing I have that I want to know about it, we got an email today on the survey on who wants to take this, who don't want to take tests, and I'm worried about our employees that don't want to take tests for other reasons. So I just want you to work on that. I want you to figure out
On the vaccine?
Yeah, I don't want to lose anybody. I don't want anybody to be in trouble over it. I hate the situation that we're in on that.
Yeah, it's, you know, there's a group of anti-vaxxers out there, whether that's flu vaccine, chicken pox, whatever, that will never take it. We are encouraging all of our frontline workers to take it because they are exposed to it all the time, right? All the time. Now, we can't hold them down and stick it in their neck and make them take it. But at the same time, what we want to do is give them good information, good education of what it's about and what it does. You know, my concern is what's the side effect? You know, well, if we all start growing a third arm, you know what Kristen said, we'll all just work a little more efficiently because we'll have an extra head.
And apparently there is some pretty good side effects.
There are. I mean, there are some side effects, and but at the same time, you know, the vaccine is not going to get into this. It will suppress it enough where we will be able to move past it, just like the flu vaccine. But at the same time, we will make it available for everybody. We will educate everybody, give them good information. But ultimately, it'll come down to individuals. I don't want to lose anybody either. I want our folks to be healthy. I want them to be able to work. At the same time, I want to be protected. I have to work on it. Any other questions or comments about COVID? It's a lot, though. It's a lot. And it's not slowing down. All right. Also on the Ronald McDonald House, this kind of goes with COVID. And, you know, we have this right across the hall here. They've been shut since March, and they're ready to open back up. And so what we've decided to do is go one room at a time, one family at a time, because we have had families that have come in and needed. They have not been available because their headquarters, their global headquarters, have shut them down. But with some guidelines and some cleaning techniques, they're ready to open back up. So we look forward to seeing them this month, December, to have them back in there. If you've never had to stay at the Ronald McDonald House, you can't appreciate what they do. It's an amazing project. We're happy to have them back in here, and we look forward to working with them to get that thing back up and running. Because even in COVID, there are babies being born. You saw our deliveries. They have not slowed down. And if anything, there'll be a baby bump here before too long with all these COVID people being locked away together that drive that. So a few other things I want to talk about. We were recognized for several things as in the best of the basin through the Odessa American. including the best hospital, a big one, the best emergency room, was a big one. That is huge. Dr. Martinez was recognized as the best OB, which is a no-brainer. We know that. Also, what else was in there? Y'all remember the rest of them?
Nursing staff.
What's that?
Nursing staff.
Nursing staff, the best nursing staff. I mean, some pretty key recognition from our community. That's a big deal. So we've got that going out there in social media to get that out there to kind of toot our own horn. But it should be no surprise to us that, is that David? We'll just keep him out of here.
Keep him out. Keep him out.
I told him to lock it when you went
I
out.
didn't have my phone in here on the well.
But just congratulations to our crew and to you as a board, that you give us the flexibility to get things done that we need to get done. And it's very exciting. There's no greater recognition than to be recognized by your peers or by your customers. And I think that was a big deal for us. So,
And the media.
and the media, yeah. Let's see what else I got. I've already talked about the city, the drive-throughs. We went through that. On the DMV side, I also want to let y'all know that we have contracted with Miss Donna Boatwright. Some of y'all may know Miss Donna. She was the CEO at Sweetwater for
Yeah, I didn't
40
know.
years.
She is, yeah.
She is what I would consider a DMV expert. And so we were able to subcontract with her for us to be able to send our DMV stuff through her for her to look at, not only as an administrative person, but also as a nurse. She's a nurse as well. And she's working with Kristen. Let me tell you something. If you can get Donna Boatwright to work with you, it is a huge deal, because she is highly respected out in the healthcare world. She had recently retired from Sweetwater, that's Nolan County. And I reached out to her and I said, "Are you bored yet? Because we've got a huge project and we need your help." And she agreed to come on. And so she's there when we need her. If we don't need her, we don't pay her. We only pay her if we use her. And just like our plan that we submitted last night, she and Kristen worked through that and made sure we had all our I's dotted and T's crossed. But she will be an asset to us. And my only downside of that was I wish we could have her full time, but she likes to be with her grandbabies or something like that.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. All right, and did we talk all we need to talk to you about the coffee and all that? You got that set up?
Oh, yeah.
Good to go? Okay. So Corporate's Coffee is gonna give our staff some coffee pretty soon. We'll get that out there. And that's all I have. Unless y'all have any questions, I'll save the rest for executive session.
Well, if that's it, then we'll get to the best of the program. Dr. Ventolini.
Thank you very much. As you know, we are in full session for full swings, excuse me, for recruiting the new residents. For next year, we have a lot of applicants, more applicants actually than last year. All the interviews are going through Zoom, so that's why you don't see people going around the hospital. Regarding the medical students, we are going to see only 40-year medical students. The third-year medical students finish. We are not going to see them anymore until January 11th. We're losing a few faculty because they are decided to go to subspecialties. So it would be good if you need those faculty to come back for those specialties that you need. That will be the time when they have made it to a fellowship program to bring them back. So we get in contact with Tina to see if you need any of those specialties. Regarding the COVID, we also apply for the vaccines. We don't know how much we're going to get it as an academic center. We're going to get some through Lubbock and some here. Each dose comes with a GPS. So you cannot move the vaccine from one place to another. And actually they come already with syringes, they told me, syringes and needles. The first batch, the governor is going to decide how much they give to each organization. We hope to have for us the faculty that are that they are doing with patient care and the residents. The medical students are going to be vaccinated in the second or third phase. The second or third phase, we're talking about March or April of next year. After you receive the first dose, like Mr. Tippen said, then the same ones will have to receive the second dose. The storage is very important because it has to be stored at -81 degrees. So we are receiving hopefully one of the refrigerators extra. So I will be able to tell you how much space do we have if you need extra space for the storage. The GPS will look to be in the same place, so hopefully there's no problem with that. And again, thank you very much for everything you do for Texas Tech. We look forward to a better year, of course, through Christmas and then a better 2021. So we hope that after that will be just something that we can tell to our children and grandchildren. Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, then I'll take us into executive sessions. Meeting held in closed session involving any of the following: consultation with attorney regarding legal matters and legal issues pursuant to section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code. 2, deliberation regarding negotiations for health care services pursuant to section 551.085 of the Texas Government Code.